Have you ever caught yourself replaying the same conversation over and over again, trying to figure out the exact moment everything fell apart? Maybe you sent a text you wish you could take back. Maybe you waited too long to reply. Maybe you said something that sounded more intense than you intended. Or maybe nothing actually happened. Someone simply stopped responding. And ever since then, you've been asking yourself the same question: did I ruin it? It's one of the most painful questions we ask ourselves when we're dating. Because once we convince ourselves that we made one fatal mistake, our brain starts rewriting the entire story. We stop remembering what actually happened, and we start imagining everything that could have happened. Suddenly, we're not grieving the person we knew, we're grieving the future we imagined. And those are two completely different things. Today, I want to talk about why that happens. Why one awkward conversation, one impulsive reaction, or one misunderstanding can feel like it destroyed something extraordinary. And more importantly, how to stop carrying that weight along long after the moment is over. Because sometimes the hardest part isn't the mistake, it's the story we keep telling ourselves afterward.
Hello, hello everyone. This is Mikala, and here's
Renee, how you guys doing?
we are doing fine. How are you?
Well, it's a bit overcast right now. The weather is rather damp, but
Yeah, I
you
know.
know, isn't it? I mean, for those of you who have bone issues, I feel for you today because it is somewhat damp in my neck of the woods, and I think in Michaela's as well,
Oh, now
right?
I have sun, but I don't think it's gonna last for long. So,
Mm.
it's
Yeah,
been
it's
raining a
wacko.
lot. So
Yeah, and well, I'm thinking, okay, how's the game gonna go, guys? Today it's Norway against England. Yeah,
oh,
yeah, I'm
oh my
excited.
god.
I'm excited. Who you rooting for, Michaela?
Haaland, Haaland. Da, 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 da,
Well,
da.
I'm on the fence. I like Helen, but I got some English heritage, so I'm on the fence on that one. I have to make up my mind before the game.
I
But I
have
am a
English family too, and I don't care.
well,
I'm all Haaland team. Come on, Norway.
I don't know yet. I don't know. I don't know because my brother's actually at the game.
That's
He's
cool.
at the game. Yeah, I know. And he's rooting for England. He's got an English cap on and everything. So, yeah, I'll have
You
to
don't
flip
have
a
to
coin.
follow everyone.
I know I'm not following everyone, but I mean, it's kind of, significant. I'm going to flip a coin. That's what I'm going to do. That will resolve the matter. But, anyhows, well, I guess we should get into the topic. Makayla, what do we have today?
Today we are going to talk about something that we all have when we are dating. That moment when we just said something or sent something and we regret it instantly because the answer that we receive is not the one we wanted. So we are a little bit afraid of mess things up.
Okay, so I mean, thinking like if it doesn't work out, thinking whether we really ruined it or we're just telling ourselves that story to to try to get around the fact that maybe the person never gave two hoots about us, right?
Yeah, or maybe, that we had an opportunity and suddenly we say something and we ruin it. And we think that's over. This person will never talk to us again. I had it
Okay.
one chance and we
And I
ruined it.
blew it.
Yeah, totally.
Okay.
We all have that in one moment in our lives, like, oh my God, shut up. you
Yeah,
know?
yeah, no, yeah, and that is, I mean, being in that situation is so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, but tell me, kind of like, why do our minds sometimes make small mistakes feel so big? Like, I mean, sometimes we might say, hey, some careless thing in a text or something, and then we're like, oh my god, maybe I blew it. Oh, I went too far. Um, like if the person is saying, hey, I'm doing exercise, and we say nonchalantly, maybe not in a mean way, but it can be taken in this way.
Well,
Oh well,
it's kind of impressive because we have, as human beings, we have a human brain, and our brain, it's a very complicated machine that does a lot of things. And one of those things is that the brain is like making stories, right?
mhm,
And he tried to finish stories. He doesn't like to be in the limbo. He wants to know facts and have certainty of things. And when we send a message and we think that something went wrong, the thing that we do is end the story. And we start to have a lot of stress and anxiety because of that, because we don't want, as people or as a person, to end the story, but our brain needs to move on. And that's a conflict just right there.
mhm, mhm.
But
Yeah,
that's not how we are going to fill all the blanks that we have at that moment in our brain. So that's, that moment where we are like, oh my God, what did I do? I should just think twice before I send that message or say something.
yeah, yeah. It's true, but sometimes we send those messages because we feel they're pulling away, or we sense something, and that little voice that's telling you, he's losing interest, and I don't know what I'm doing wrong because everything was so great, but now it's just not the same. He's not respecting my time. He's not calling when he says he will. So that's when I think a lot of us are triggered and make mistakes.
Oh yeah, of course.
Um, yeah. And guys, that's hard to get over. I mean, it really is hard to handle. It really is hard to count to 10 and not do anything silly. It
Yeah,
is.
but we have to understand something here, that we are responding because something that triggered us, that we actually have felt before. Like, we had a story with someone and this someone suddenly start to ghosted us and we don't know why, and we maybe had a kind of relationship with this person and this person suddenly just disappeared, and we think that something is wrong, but maybe something happened to that person. Or maybe that triggers something because that person did something to us and that was the way he started to act. So when we see that kind of behavior with a new person of interest, that triggers that moment. And that's when we are like, yeah, I have to
So
end this.
yeah, exactly. We draw from the past and bring it into a future we're creating. And, you know, we're repeating without wanting to the same like we're preparing for war, if you will, or not war, but because we were scarred, or scathed by the first or one of the experiences, we're pulling that into our current relationship and then creating this future that doesn't exist. Well, future pretty much doesn't exist, but I mean, we're building this negative future, and it's because of the books we read
Interpretation.
before.
Yeah, the
Mhm.
interpretation that we are giving at that moment of something that already happened to us, and we don't want to go through that again. So we kind of say stuff that we shouldn't or send messages
I
that we
know.
because we are actually thinking then that we know that what's happening when we don't have a clue about it. Because
Yeah,
something
well,
happened, you could, maybe you went for a run and suddenly someone, running to you with a, I don't know, with a bike, and you end up at the hospital, and that's why you couldn't answer the text because you lose your phone in the process. I don't know. A lot of things can happen, and our brain is going to make a lot of noise and make
yeah.
a lot of stories that they are not there, and we are going to react because of an interpretation that we are, given to that situation.
Well, sometimes I actually wish it were like Groundhog Day, that movie, that old movie, Groundhog, where you could, where you made a mistake and then the next day came and I don't remember the song that kept playing every time he got up, but guys, watch that movie, okay? I wish things were like Groundhog Day because you can repair them or try to, right?
Oh, the other movie is a very good one too about that is the movie with Drew Barrymore, who is her
Oh,
character.
50,
Yeah,
50 something
yeah.
days. Yeah.
Yeah, every time he wakes up is like a brand new day. She's reliving the same day all over and over again, and they are like trying to do the same kind of story because, they don't want to know what happened to her mother or something like that. And then it's like, okay, I don't forget. I forget what's happening, so I don't care. Let's start all over again.
Yeah, yeah, I do wish that sometimes. Yeah, I love that movie. It's so sweet,
Yeah, that
but guys, the real but however, on the flip side, sometimes without sending these messages or whatever, we start to feel uneasy and do feel people pulling away, and some of us don't act on it, but we're still in that situation where they're feeling where they're pulling away. So what do we do? Um, we often fail to evaluate the relationship objectively. So if you haven't made the mistake of sending some rude stuff, folks, I've done it. I do it. I'm your guinea pig. Okay.
we
Um.
all did it at some
Well,
point. Come on.
yes, but
Let's be honest. We all have made that same mistake because, man, it's so easy to do it.
I oh, it's so easy to blow up or be in court. I mean, I read some of the stuff I sent to one guy in particular. It was very creative. I must say, I was laughing when I read it. I mean, it was mean, but very creative.
But the thing
I
is
don't care about,
we
you
don't
know.
have to be always mean. It's something that just we can just say, "You know what? Don't contact me ever again," and we don't meant it, but you just send it because that's the way we feel at that moment. And that's kind of funny because sometimes we are like, "I will never do that again." And come on, it happens a lot. We are all human beings. We don't change in a few hours. It takes a very
No.
long time to change some habits. And and it's even harder when you are triggered about something that scares you.
Yeah, well, the fear of abandonment, I think, is a big one for, again, you wanna get ahead if you're feeling that person pulling away. I mean, I speak for myself, but I think a lot of you can relate. When you feel that someone is just pulling away, then you want to beat them to it. You don't want to be the one dumped. You're going to do the dumping. A lot of people do this, right? More introspective people might say, well, are we really compatible? Like they'll get deep into what the relationship actually is without involving so many emotions, but rather looking at things objectively. I mean, if you're with a person who loves parachuting and you're a homebody and you're terrified of crossing the street, I mean, I'm being exaggerated, but obviously you're not going to be very compatible with Mr. Adventure. Okay, like, I mean, if you're a person who's into opera, and then you wanna go to the opera and the theater and whatever, and the guy is like, "Hey, let's go bungee jumping this weekend." I mean, you can try to compromise and maybe do bungee jumping with opera in the background. I mean, that can happen, right? But I think that sort of match, something's gotta give or it doesn't. And it's not, and at the same time, you can't be twins. I know of a case actually, Mikala. This couple, they're both Iron Men. I mean, they do that triathlon thing, the Iron Man.
Mhm.
But guess what? They broke up because they were too competitive with each other. Like they'd be like, "Who runs faster? Who cycles faster? Who can swim and make it for?" They were always fighting over who beat who. And that terminated their relationship. So, I mean, it's this is why there's no exact recipe or potion for couples because we're all different and
Yeah, and
we're all
another
individuals.
thing, I mean, maybe you don't wanna do the body jumping thing, but you can just go and, be with your partners and see if he doesn't kill himself doing that, you know?
like like a chili. Well, that's what I'm getting at. Yeah, again, it's
You don't have to do
we
it. You just have to be there with that person
to support.
to
Yeah.
support the person. I mean, I'm kind of a crazy kind of person, and I love adrenaline and a lot of risky kind of things. And
Mhm.
at the same time, I can go to see opera. I don't have any kind of a problem there. But it's a thing that my husband doesn't like scary stuff, and I love them. And I'm like, "Don't go. Let me go.
So so what
I wanna
okay,
do
so
crazy stuff." But sometimes we had done crazy stuff together, like going to a place where we have, something where he's very scared of heights, and we go hiking and maybe climbing some stuff, and he I'm just telling him, "Don't look down because otherwise you're gonna get
not gonna
very
fall off.
scared."
But okay,
You
but you're getting at something that I wanted to mention. Communication. It's exactly that also. This
Yeah.
is where communication is key because if you don't open your freaking mouth, and that's where we go back to did I offend or not? Sometimes you have to open your mouth. Now, there's ways of doing it. Granted, in my case, sometimes I've been quite horrendous. I take back a lot of my insults, if you will, or that I've made that mistake. Don't make that mistake, guys. Be above that. But if you're if the person does something to you, well, you can try communicating over it. But if the person simply doesn't respond, well, I would say then back out. But first try communicate
But
because
one
there
thing,
could be yes.
sorry to interrupt here, but I think it's important because one thing is when you have already a relationship to have that
Mhm.
kind of communication, it's easier because you already are in a relationship. But at the beginning of a relationship, when you are trying to start something, having that kind of communication, it's harder because you are kind of
You don't know what to
I'm all for it, but at the same time, I don't know because I don't want to get hurt, you know? So when you start talking with someone, it starts to be a little bit difficult to to have the courage, I'm gonna say, to have that kind of open communication. I'm not saying that it's wrong. Oh, I'm saying that you have to do it, and we understand that it's harder at the beginning of a relationship.
Yeah. Yeah, because you don't know that person well, you don't know how they're gonna respond, but at the same time, if you put up with everything all the time, and some of the things are really off and don't go with your personality, with your values, with whatever, and you just put up with it, I think that's a recipe, at least for illness. Like, maybe you can be a successful, like, even marry the person, but if you never open your mouth, sooner or later it's going to affect you because you are not communicating your needs. And the person gets comfortable because as you've never expressed any opinion on anything because you want to keep the person, the person becomes clueless. I mean, very few people are that perceptive, and if you let everything slide, oof, they're never going to be perceptive. And so yeah, it's tough to talk about tough things like, well, yeah, I mean, the issue of well, the topic of time, for example, this person says they're really into you and that and makes plans with you all the time, but a lot of the time fails to deliver. I mean, you can go about it in different ways. You can start saying, "No, this is not for me," or you can start accepting the person and say, "Well, okay, this person is impunctual. Am
Mhm.
I in? Well, okay, I'm in because I can handle it." So basically, our past doesn't just shape our memories, it shapes our expectations and eventually it shapes our behavior. Some people become overly defensive, like, "Hiya," Bruce Lee. Others over explain, like Pee Wee Herman, rest his soul. Some pull away first. Oh, I want to be alone. Others chase harder. Yeah, I want you, I want you. Different behaviors. Same underlying fear. Same fear. Okay. The fear of experiencing yesterday's pain all over again. So,
Mm.
Mikala, what do you think about that?
Well, I think it's very true because we will react depending on what we are feeling at that moment. If
Mhm.
if I'm feeling like I've been offended or something, or betrayed or something, I'm gonna react in an offensive way.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
So,
yeah, I think one thing I want to say before we go to the other subject is that we need to try, and I know it's very hard, but before sending or saying something, maybe asking a question, you know, be able to ask a question or say something or try to know before what is happening before sending a message because we are scared, we feel a lot of anxiety, trying to know a little bit more before to react, before sending something that we are going to regret.
yeah, I agree. And that's why maybe we should look into the subject of the emotional autopilot, although I'm not saying it's the best option at all. In fact, there's a hidden cost to going through the emotional autopilot. And I think one of the biggest problems there, well, are tied in with emotional reactions, which happen incredibly fast
Yeah.
before logic has a chance to speak. So a lot of us then switch into emotional autopilot. You catch my drift, right?
Yeah, and again, that's because you know our brain is designed to prioritize accuracy. It's like it's designed to prioritize the survival mode.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
Yep.
it's something. If something happened and it reminds you of some moment of your life it was painful, or a painful experience, you are going to relive that moment. So our our brain is gonna send you a message, like, don't do that, don't ask, react, just be stay alive, so that's why we we need to learn to ask
Yeah.
a question, or to be a little bit curious, if and know if something is happening, and that's why the other person is not answering, because otherwise is when we commit all these kind of mistakes.
You mean like filtering, like asking ourselves, is this exactly the same situation? Or could this become dangerous for my emotional state, for example? Like if you're seeing, you know, I mean, you have to ask yourself either, but if it resembles the past, well, uh, I mean, it's hard to start a new relationship,
Yeah,
definitely.
but we need to understand, or try, more than understand, to try to ask ourselves before sending that message. Okay, let's take a breath. Is this situation the same, exactly the same thing that happened to me, no, a year ago, with that person, or with my ex, or whatever? Or I am jumping my guns right here. Maybe I should send a message, uh, a nice one, like, "Hi, how are you? I haven't heard from you in a while. I'm just wondering if you are doing okay or something happens." You know?
Yeah. Yeah, and it's hard because, yeah, again, guys, if you do have a history, most of us do, unless you're 13. I hope you don't have a
Or
history at
even when
13.
you are
But
13 years old, you have a story.
yeah, but I really hope you don't. But if you do, okay, there's no problem. But we tend to go back into the past and compare previous relationships with the ones we're in, and however, nothing is ever going to be exactly the same as the previous relationship. So we must digest that. If somebody let you down in the previous one, don't automatically assume that the next one is gonna end up the same way. That's where you have to try to change your chip. Just be observant as opposed to obsessive.
Yeah.
Observant, and I know it's easier said than done, but again, you live and you try to learn. I'm not saying you're going to learn always, but you try to, right? So, y- you know, now at the same time, if you've just started dating this person, or, you know, don't suddenly make them the center of your universe, because that's a trap, that's a trap when you make that new person your only chance, your only choice.
Yeah.
You have to keep your feet on. I'm not saying go around flirting, go flirting about left, right, and center. What I'm getting at is don't be blinded
By that.
by, if you start thinking you're feeling, I'm not going to say love, and tremendous infatuation, for example, or tremendous admiration. Don't think that that person is the solution to the problems in your existence, because he or she isn't. The person that has to solve those things is you. So you cannot make that person your son. You're not rotating around that person. You're complementing that person and vice versa. But you are
Yeah.
you. I don't know, Mikala, because I do see some people glorify other people. I don't tell
Yeah,
them
but
anything.
again, I think it's because we have that tendency of thinking that that person in front of us is the one, you know? We like to think, "Oh, this person makes me feel that way, and I wanna be with that person," and when we made a mistake, we think that, we lost the person we were supposed to be with, and that's an incredibly heavy story to carry in our minds. Imagine every time you lose something, you think that you have lost something very important. I don't know. It's gonna you will always have someone, and you're gonna meet someone who could be the one. And the thing is, if this person is walking away from you, this person wasn't the one for you. That's a fact. The person who is right for you is gonna stay with you. And that's why it's so important to stop carrying that kind of a story. But w- w- we need to understand that, because if we if one makes a mistake and there's a chance to undo the mistake, because
Mhm.
it's always a way to do it. I mean, as I just said, you can just send a message and avoid that mistake by asking if something happened, or if this person is okay, and see if this person is going to respond. Obviously, if this person is not responding because uh, something happened, maybe we can get a little bit frustrated because this person might not have the phone in a year, maybe a month had passed, and we don't have any kind of idea about this person, and we moved on because we assumed that this person, you know, suddenly just ghosted us. Can happen, but it also
Mhm.
happened that this person is having a bad time at that moment. Maybe someone, as I said, maybe had an accident and he's at the hospital and he's not able to speak to you at that moment. But um, I don't know, a few hours later, he just answered the phone and he saw a very bad text. And this person is like, you know what, I wanted to talk to you and everything, but you know what, I'm not in a good place right now. I just been in an accident, but after reading what you said, I don't want to talk to you anymore. You know,
Yeah.
it can happen too, but it's it exists a way to to repair that situation. I mean, you can always say, "Oh, you know, I'm so sorry. I'm just going through some stuff too, and I really wanted to talk to you. I'm so sorry. If you need something, I'm here for you. If you want to talk, I'm here. If you know, it's you you let the door open with that message. You know if this person is going to reach to you at any time. If at least you tried. If this person is not answering, well, it's time to move on, because as you said, that person is not the one for you, and this person is not going to fix anything for you. But it's gonna let this person thinking, oh, maybe I misjudged this person. Maybe we were in a bad place at the same time. So this person is kind of maybe thinking about what you said, and maybe it's gonna take a little bit of time, or maybe it's gonna just click at that moment and this person's gonna answer you. But
It depends
it's
on the person.
exactly, but it's not always something so catastrophic that you don't have any way to repair the situation. You can fix
Yeah,
it.
I think look, I've known of cases where, I mean, they've had absolutely brutal fights, and then years go by, and then they rekindle things. So, yeah, I think in most cases, time is the greatest healer because it can do several things. You can either become completely healed, which is preferable if it didn't work out well and it ended badly, not wish the person ill will, but rather let time do the healing and maybe you meet somebody else.
Yeah.
Or if you're meant to be, which I would question that myself, that does me, but over time, you might give it another shot. The thing is, when the wound is open and the other person really doesn't want to have anything to do with it, just let it go.
Move on.
Never ever beg. Never beg. That's the worst thing you can do.
You know,
Begging is terrible.
I
Yes.
heard about a story actually about
Mhm.
it was in Spain, I guess, a girl who was um going out with a guy, and and suddenly the person ghosted her.
Mhm.
And she was super mad and sad and all, all the process we go through these situations.
Mhm.
And suddenly, like I don't remember honestly if it was a year or more,
Mhm.
but after a while, let's say a year, she received a message from that person. And actually, this person was he had an accident. He
Mm.
was in induced coma, and that person couldn't answer. So the person never ghosted her. He just had an accident and then reached to this girl saying, I'm so sorry. I was into an accident. I was induced in a coma. I spent like 3 months like there, that like that, and then I recover, and it's been, let's say, a year, and now I can reach to apologize because you must think that I'm the worst person on earth, but it wasn't intentional. So see, it can happen. So
Mm.
that's why we have to, I think, to learn how to calm down our nervous system
Yeah.
and able to be a little bit more curious before jumping up into conclusions and avoid that kind of mistakes.
Looking for real conversations about love, connection, and everything in between? Listen to Love Hacks. Honest, heartfelt, and in four languages: English, Espanol, Francais, and Portuguese. Find your version wherever you get your podcast. See you soon.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Um, and also we again we must without being overly meticulous, but well, meticulous but not obsessively. So really look, I mean, because one thing is attraction and chemistry, but the other one is, you know, compatibility and even alignment. Um we cannot allow ourselves to, and know it's human nature, but one must always have in the back of one's head, especially when starting out, am I compatible with this person? I mean, yeah, I'm very attracted to them. I mean, like if I see some hot Italian waiter flirting with me, trust me, guys, I'm gonna be like, oh my god, I'll be infatuated. But how much am I gonna have in common? Maybe he likes the theater, maybe he likes cycling, or maybe he likes going to discotheques and staying up till all hours of the morning, which I don't like anymore. Maybe he likes parachuting. I'm terrified of doing that, you know? But man, is he hot. So then that's when you also ask yourself, okay, what am I looking for? Am I looking for a one night stand? I'd say go for it. Am I looking for a long term relationship? Well, miracles can happen, but
Oh,
you
I
know,
mean,
you,
in that case, you have to take it slow because, again, the fact that this person likes the adrenaline thing doesn't mean you're not compatible because you can have a lot of things in common and have different hobbies. So you have to take time to
but
know that.
that's if you want, but what I'm getting at, that's if I want a long relate. Now, if I
Exactly.
want a
If
one
you
night
want,
stand,
if you want, you don't have to wait for
yeah,
anything.
you don't have to ask anything. You're
No,
just like, yeah, let's
I'm
go for it.
talking about the fact if you want to have a relationship with this person,
Mhm.
in that case, you have to take things slow because you cannot know if you're compatible with someone in a week. That's not
Yeah.
possible. It's gonna
And
take
there's
time. It's gonna take a lot of time to know one person. And that's why we are always saying in this podcast, guys, take your time. Don't jump because we have that tendency. Our brains have that tendency of creating a lot of stories about someone what we don't even know. It's like, oh, I like this person. That person is the love of my life. And you spend 2 hours with this person. And the next day, oh, he's the father of my kids. And you're like, Come on, you don't even know that person. You don't know if something bad happens, if this person is gonna be there for you. You have no idea who this person is. You don't know his friends, you don't know anything about this person. And
His
suddenly
family.
is, you know, the one, the princess charmer. The
Mhm.
they live happy ever after. And you have no idea who this person is. It might be a psychopath, and you are all like, "Oh, that's the love of my life."
Yeah, he spent 10, he could be another Ted Bundy for all you
Exactly.
know?
Yeah, and you don't know what happened with this person's life before, and you have no idea, and you are already making a lot of amazing stories about this person. You have to take time. Seriously, I know it's repetitive when we say that, but take your time, guys. And the same
Take
time,
your time
yeah,
wisely.
yeah, be curious, be honestly curious about knowing that person and take your time to see if this person is the one. It's not going to be in a month or two. You have to spend a lot of time with this person, share a lot of things with this person. And even though sometimes when you spend a lot of time with this person, you are like, yeah, maybe, but maybe, maybe it wasn't the right person because a lot
Yeah,
of things might happen along in the way of your story, and maybe you're gonna change your mind at some point. But you
yeah,
need to take time to know the person you are with before saying this person is the love of my life.
yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely, take your time. And
And don't
well,
be afraid either to learn about from your mistakes, because you have to learn from your mistakes. It's gonna help you a lot to stop assuming something in a 5 moment that you didn't receive a message. It's gonna help you to stop reacting so quickly about a situation. It's gonna stop you to make assumptions. It's gonna stop you to make decisions that you just jump into it because you didn't have the patience or you didn't know how to handle the situation better. So that's why we have to learn to from our mistakes to just start to slow a little bit, you know?
yeah, yeah, start to slow down. Well, guys, I think it's a wrap. I hope that you guys enjoyed this podcast. We're looking out for you always. And Mikhaila, any closing words?
Well, I think that one of the biggest traps after an early dating disappointment is convincing yourself that you lost someone extraordinary. But I don't know what you have to say about it.
Well, I mean, before basically, I think that that's not, we said this earlier. When you've broken up with someone and you stop talking to them, you tend to want to rewrite the story in your head. And a lot of us want to blame ourselves, right? And start saying that this person that we lost is extraordinary. But folks, why did you get to that point in the first place? Are you all bad? I don't think so. All right. It takes two to tango, folks, in most cases. You know, two to tango. It's not everyone's, and I can, I started to do that recently. And then I thought, oh my God, but wait a minute. Hold on. This person never apologized for standing me up. This person did this. So why am I trying to rewrite a story? No, it is what it is. Did I make some mistakes? Absolutely, because I'm human as well. I mean, only a saint would not misbehave. But don't be so hard on yourself. That's what I'm getting at. Don't be like, oh my God, I put my foot in it. I'm awful. No, you're human. And every action has a reaction. And some people know how to apologize and some don't. And that's the way I see it. So don't fall into that trap. Don't say, "Oh my god, I lost, I don't know, Genghis Khan." Well, Genghis Khan was was wrong. Well, I lost, I don't know, Abraham Lincoln. Well, Abraham Lincoln, we don't know how his, maybe he was a grouchy guy. Yeah. You see what I
Or
mean? Oh, I lost Winston Churchill. Well, we shall fight. We shall never. Well, okay, wonderful prime minister, but naughty in other aspects. So I mean, like one of his sayings was he told Lady, I think her name was Lady Astor. She came to him and she said, "Winston, if I were uh, your wife, I would poison. I would poison you." And he said something along the lines of, "Well, if I were your husband, I'd drink it." I mean, so folks, everybody is flawed. Do not set a person on a pedestal. Don't do that. Okay?
yeah,
That's
totally.
what those are my closing words, Mikala.
No, I
Regard.
totally agree. I think it's perfectly said because yeah, we are all humans. We are imperfect beings, so we have to accept it and be um aware that a person who doesn't want to stay with you is not a person for you.
Exactly. Clear as day. All right. Well, now we are wrapping up. So have a wonderful week and enjoy the game. And we'll see ya.
Next week. See you
All
guys.
right.
Bye.
See ya. Bye.
If this episode resonated with you, make sure to like the video and share your thoughts in the comments. We'd love to hear from you.